Steg?
Wow.
It's an old man. It's a Sega.
Wow.
Episode 3. I am inhabited by a cry. Another phenomenal TV show episode title by the makers of Beef. I am inhabited by a cry. Wow. All right. What an episode. Please like and subscribe, guys. I'm going to try to do the whole season. This is episode 3. I know the whole season came out all at once, but I'm just doing them 1 week at a time. So follow along if you want. And we also review the show called Dave, Lil Dicky. So if you like Dave and you like Beef, that joke will never get old. I'll keep doing Dave Thomas until I'm done reviewing. Like and subscribe. All right. This episode starts off with Amy and George in therapy. This is from the fallout of the Chair Museum where they had that big blowout. Within the first minute, we get a phenomenal line by the writers where George in therapy says, "Honestly, I can't even enjoy anything vanilla after that comment," referring back to the last episode where Amy says that sex with George is vanilla. So awesome. Love that line. This scene is juxtaposed with Danny and the hammer. Last scene in the last episode outside of Amy and George's house. He's kind of tripping up on himself. He's noticing that it's very lit. There's security. So he can't quite get the revenge on her like he thinks he can. And you have Amy fake being vulnerable. Is she being real here? What's going on? She had some honest comments in therapy, but it felt very fake. At one point, she's talking about her dad and how the dad bottled up energy or anger, and it shows Danny outside of his truck just super angry. So there's obviously some sort of mirror reflection there. Maybe Amy hates, am I getting too Freudian? Maybe Amy hates Danny because Danny reminds Amy of her father. We don't know because we don't quite know Amy's parents. And then you go back to Danny outside of Amy's house, about to light her truck on fire. And he looks inside and little baby June, I keep calling her little baby June. I know she's not a baby. Little baby June is in the truck and he's like, oh shoot. So he bails on the plan and runs away. And he runs to his apartment with brother Paul. And brother Paul is cleaning. He looks polished. He's totally ignoring Danny. Danny goes, I almost killed a kid. I almost lit a kid on fire. And Paul doesn't even like ask a question. He's just like, I've been texting Kayla. Oh, by the way, she's not a bot. And he leaves. So this Amy, Kayla, Paul relationship is escalating real quick. Paul is all in. You know, he's childish. He's immature. He fell in love with a fake Instagram woman. We've all done it. Amy and George and little baby June taking pictures outside of their house. Little baby June is painting a picture. I paused the picture. It's a family portrait. It's of the two parents and her. All three of them are smiling. You see Amy with her little octagon glasses. Octagon, right? That's what a stop sign is. Stop sign shaped glasses. And they look happy. So I was looking for some sort of weird symbolism there. I didn't quite see it. More on that later. It did look like maybe they were strangling her, but I don't think so. I think that would be a reach. I think it was just a family portrait. And at this moment, you have brother Paul texting Amy, and Amy just trying to like get through this mess with the husband right there. Now you have Danny at church, and you got the church music going. I'm not a church goer, so I can't really speak to this, but the music just hits him, man. The music hits him, and he cries. We've never really seen Danny this vulnerable before. Good acting by Steve and Yeun here. And it looked cathartic, man. I'm not going to lie. Like, damn near made me want to go to church and listen to bad music because the way he was crying and just embracing the tears was, I've never cried like that. And I think it would be nice. But it was a cool scene. I thought it was well shot. And the music was just kind of, it felt accurate. It felt true to what church music is like. Like I said, I can't really speak to that. Now you have Amy at Jordan's house. Jordan, who she's trying to close a deal with for 3 episodes now. Very awkward scene. Tell Jordan is just kind of like after a friendship more so than closing a deal. Jordan, you don't really ever quite know her motivations. She's a little mysterious. And Jordan's like, I need to leave. I'll be back soon. Stay here. Super awkward. I mean, what do you do in that situation? I think I would just be like, no, I'm gonna go to the Starbucks around the corner. But the way Jordan kind of presented it, Amy kind of felt forced to stick around. she's just kind of bored and starts texting Paul about really superficial things. And Paul's like immaturity and ditziness keeps showing in these text messages, and you can tell Amy's like, why am I texting this guy? He's kind of an idiot. And then you go back to Danny. We have Danny at the church in this really sanitized church setting, kind of like a low energy thing. You can see he's eating like a complimentary donut. Back to Amy. So now you have Amy at Jordan's house still. This big, beautiful, extravagant house, and there's a crown room, a room of crowns. Pretty sick. The background of art in this show is pretty cool. You got these weird chairs, you got crowns, you have weird vases, plants. The little art is a cool aspect of the show, I have to say. The crowns were dope. And you have George and Amy texting, and George accidentally texting Amy a picture of Kayla to Amy. Like, what? Why? It was like a screenshot of her Instagram or something, which this is the same Kayla that Amy used, right? To get Paul into it. So this Kayla woman must be some magnificent looking female. I don't know. Now we have Amy still at Jordan's house, bored, restless, pissed off at George. So she starts to text Paul some pictures of like her legs, and he goes, nice tan, which is funny because he thinks she's white. She's not white. It's Amy, so it was a real selfie. And she ends up calling him, and it was just a weird conversation because Amy was like weirdly honest with him, kind of vulnerable. I guess she just felt lonely, like felt the need to talk to somebody, and Paul obliged. And now you have Paul talking about brother Danny, and he's like, I hate him. And ironically enough, of course, Amy does too. So that was a weird wrinkle. You have Danny with cousin Isaac in massage chairs. Cousin Isaac, played by David Choe, goes, just let the chair there in massage chairs. Just let the chair do its thing, man. That's how Kobe beef is made. Great line. Great little one-liner. And you have Danny like just complaining, like, I always do the right thing. Things never go right for me. Danny from episode 1 is just a total victim. Like, he really truly believes things just happen to him, and he takes no responsibility for the way his life has turned out. And it's just shows his like arrogance, his ignorance, which has been a theme throughout the series. Back to Amy and George in their bedroom doing intimacy exercises. That was recommended by the therapist, I assume. And Amy's just not into it. And she, I guess she takes a moment, she takes a risk to kind of open up to George about kind of being depressed. And George tries to like relate to her, but it's just not resonating with Amy. I think George just kind of says one-liners. He's very live, laugh, love. He's very he's not a complex individual, and Amy's a very complex individual. And I think Amy just feels really lonely in that way, and is kind of tired of the little George mantras that he just shoots out. And you could tell there's a deep loneliness in this relationship with George and Amy from Amy's point of view, because she doesn't feel seen. I guess she doesn't feel heard. She has some, I guess you could say she has some demons and some deep depression that George just cannot see. It's like, drink more water, like do some jumping jacks. And it's sad, man. It was a sad scene, but it was well acted, and it's a fractured relationship. It's not a real, it's kind of a superficial relationship, which sucks. Also, I wanted to say, I need to start saying this in every episode. George's style, his fashion, off the damn hook. I don't even know what you call this, pale wave. I don't know what it is, but the way he dresses in these episodes, phenomenal. You have Danny back at this real estate property area calling about a loan. The loan officer's like, no, absolutely not. And he randomly decides to bring up the church. So kind of bringing in the church to get some sort of funding here. Probably to benefit himself, we're thinking at this point. It's not a selfless pursuit. We know that about Danny already. He's whatever he wants to believe about himself. One thing he's not is selfless. And then you have back to Amy. Jordan comes over randomly. You have George serving tea. Very demure, like a nice, tea serving, person. It was kind of cute. And Jordan proposes a deal where basically Amy would have to stay on for 5 years, which is not what Amy wanted. And there's a little bit of back and forth in exchange. And then Jordan has this little quick one-liner where she goes, well, that's why we have wives. And she kind of looks over at George kind of cleaning the toy room, June's toy room. And this is not the first time Jordan's thrown these little one-liner daggers. I remember in a previous episode where she's talking about June, she goes, well, hopefully she'll get more polite when she's older, which I still love. I still want to say that to like kids and dogs and stuff, to their owners and parents. Now this is where it gets spicy. You have brother Paul walking into Amy's plant shop, and he sees Amy and he sees Kayla and he yells Kayla. And you have Amy kind of covering things up and telling Kayla to go in the back. And she immediately just kind of springs into action and takes Paul out. And it's like, look, man, this is the truth. I've been catfishing you. And Paul isn't deterred at all. He's like kind of turned on by Amy at this point. He's like, you're hotter than Kayla. And then you have this ending scene here, this like music montage where you have Stephen Yeun, Danny playing the guitar. I assume this is really him singing and playing, which was pretty impressive. And you have George in the bathroom playing with this squishy to a picture of Kayla. This Kayla thing, man, enigmatic, right? And Paul kissing Amy, and Amy kind of into it, not really resisting. So a lot going on here. You also have baby June and her painting. And I looked at the painting, and it's just becoming more and more fractured. She's just adding more yellow and red lines and curls and swirls around the family, and just kind of separating them and making the image more muddy, which I guess is just speaking to, you know, a child's intuition about her family. It's a fractured family, and she kept saying the whole time, she was like, the image isn't done, the picture isn't done, which I thought was like a cool little wrinkle. So go back and look at those paintings by June. It was the evolution of it was pretty cool. So that's all I got for this episode. I thought it was pretty good. Cannot wait for episode 4. Please like and subscribe, guys. Talk to you soon. Peace.